channel.
Duffy, start already.
Start. Alright. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright. So this is Pokemon Rumble. It's for the Wii Virtual Console. It came out in 2009. And basically, it's a 4th gen game. And you play as little Pokemon toys instead of actual Pokemon that like you have been seeing. And the point for this game is not to actually level up or anything. It's to just go through dungeons and to just collect more powerful Pokemon. And there's 4 different ranks. There's rank C, B, A, and S. And there's 6 different stages in each rank. And every time you complete a stage, the more powerful Pokemon will start to show up. So this is Rattata. This isn't Joey's Rattata, but it's a Rattata. And he is responsible for the first thing I do in this run, which is kill myself. Joey's Rattata will show up soon in the run, but after I finish the first stage. The first, this is Rattata as being a very naughty Rattata, and he's trying to go into a battle royale with all the strong Pokemon, and he's a very weak Pokemon. So instead of trying to beat the battle royale with this really weak Rattata, I'm just gonna kill him and teach him a lesson to not be a bad Rattata. And all this is unskippable. Later in the run, it'll all be able to be skipped, but they really wanted to show off how slow we can be. So, yeah. So basically, the best RNG for this part is to have Wigglytuffs, Butterfrees, or Parasects. Pikachu is also good, but I just want Pokemon that'll kill me the fastest. And Caterpies and Bulbasaurs don't do that. Alright, so we're going into the Silent Forest. This is the first time and last time we're going to go into the Silent Forest. And these text boxes show up only in this part of the run because it's the tutorial part of the run. And I didn't get it on the first one, but there's plenty more text boxes to skip. There's text boxes and cutscenes that'll stop your Pokemon, and those are the only things that'll stop you in this run. Rattatas and all Pokemon that you use, they don't ever stop moving unless you don't put in the input, or these text boxes or cutscenes stop you. And the reason I do that tackle is to gain a few frames up onto where I'm not supposed to be moving. Because if you saw on the first text box, I was instantly stopped, but if I time the tackle correctly, I'll be able to move while I'm not supposed to be moving. And it saves a little bit of time. It saves probably about a second in this whole entire introduction, but I use it in every other stage before entering the boss fight. And the reason I got the Pikachu is because Pikachu is pretty good and has Thunder Shock. And I need that to fight this really strong Ivysaur coming up. And I don't switch into Pikachu right away because Pikachu is slow, so I go right to the very end, and then I switch into Pikachu. So this is the passwords category. There's also no passwords, which is a lot easier to learn. But passwords, there's a group of codes that Nintendo gave out when this game was new. There is, I believe there's 13 for the English version. There's 9 for the European version, and there's 35 for the Japanese version, which is why back when people were first starting to run this game, JP was kind of banned because it was so overpowered. But there is one Pokemon that I use into this run that is European exclusive, and that's Blastoise. And I only use 3 of the password Pokemon, and if it's a good run, I only use 2 of those Pokemon, and that is Joey's Rattata and Blastoise. Blastoise is the American exclusive Pokemon. The reason I use Rattata is because it's speedy, and in this game there's special traits. So there's speedy, which makes the Pokemon move faster, just in general. As you can see, this is a really fast Rattata, so obviously it's Joey's Rattata. And then there's other things like Lucky, which makes more money drop. There's Punchy, which raises your attack, and a bunch of other stuff. And it also has Double Edge, and Double Edge is a really strong move. So I want to basically not die with Rattata as much as possible. The less I die, the more time I save, and this is all about being fast. And the reason I use Blastoise is because at the end of each rank, there's a power that I need to get to enter the Battle Royale, so that the Battle Royale isn't extremely difficult. And for C rank, it's 100, for B rank, it's 200, for A rank, it's 400, and for S rank, it's 600. And I don't like using the Pokemon that this game gives, so I just use the passwords that the game gives, because that's better RNG. And I use the Blastoise because it has a move called Aqua Tail, if you haven't heard of it. And it's a good move if I die with Rattata, because it kind of shoots the Pokemon forward, like it just throws them forward, and it's a fast-paced move, and it also does a lot of damage. So whenever I go into the Battle Royales, I use the Blastoise, and whenever I'm in the dungeons, I use the Rattata. And the reason I'm not killing anything is because the power that I need doesn't show up right away. It shows up when you defeat 2 to 3 stages. It usually happens when you go into the 4th stage. So the strat that I use for speedrunning this game is going to 3 stages, and then going to a 4th stage that'll have the best Pokemon for being the power that I need, and just killing everything until I get the drop. The drop is dependent on 3 different things, whether it's a shiny Pokemon. All shiny Pokemon drop in this game. If it's RNG, it'll just drop it on its own. Or if it kind of has stars surrounding the Pokemon. It's kind of hard to describe it, but if I see it, I'll point it out. But that's an RNG factor, and I got actually pretty good RNG. So instead of exiting the terminal, which would seem like to be the fastest thing to do, if I were to exit terminal, I wouldn't save any of the Pokemon that I actually collected, or any of the money that I collected. So the only way of saving the Pokemon that you collect is to either kill yourself or to defeat the boss at the end of the stage. And defeating the boss is slow, so I just kill myself. So that's basically the strat for each rank. But the route changes a little bit, because I've done a lot of stuff with this game trying to make it as optimal as possible. And in B rank, there's a new thing that can save a lot of time, but is completely RNG dependent. But I'll get into that when we get there. So this is one of the few things that is RNG dependent in this category. And it's just the spawning of Pokemon. So like it's RNG whether or not like 4 Spearows spawn or no Spearows spawn. They show Pokemon from each dungeon even if we don't go to it, but it's RNG of what Pokemon actually show up and what Pokemon don't, and how many. Obviously I want the weakest Pokemon to show up, but sometimes that doesn't happen. This is actually not too bad. But like the worst case scenarios for this one, for example, is having a lot of Hypnos and a lot of Drowsies, because they all are really strong defensively. There is a few bosses. There's usually 3, but in this one, in rank B and rank S, there's more than 3 bosses at the end of Battle Royale. But there's a boss at the Battle Royale for each Battle Royale, and this one, it's the trio of Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon. And that's how you know it's over. And now we're done. So we're going to switch back into Joey's Rattata, and we're going to proceed on to rank B. So the reason I'm going to the ones on the right, I've timed all of the stages, and all the stages on the left for some reason are all longer when it comes to movement wise, and the Pokemon at the end are just like more annoying to kill. I don't know why Nintendo decided to do that, or the makers of this game decided to make the right side faster, but they did. So we're not going to go to the left side at all unless we're going to get the power that we need. So we're never going to go to the Bright Beach, and we're never going to go to the Silent Forest. So yeah. And the new mechanic about this, it can happen in any rank, but it's most occurring in rank B, and would be pretty interesting if it happened in this run. Every Pokemon that you kill has a chance of dropping, and that's basically what I want to happen. I don't want anything weak to drop, but I want the power that I need. And these bosses can drop, and after defeating 2 bosses, or after defeating like any bosses, it's just more likely for more powerful Pokemon to spawn. So when I get to this, after Magmar, which is the boss for this one, I'm going to go to Eternal Tower. And it's most occurrent in rank B, but it can happen in any other rank, where the boss will drop, and it will be the 200 power. If that's the case, that saves about 40 seconds, at least 40 seconds. It can save more depending on how long it will take you to get the power anywhere else. But the reason it saves time is because I don't have to enter a completely different stage to try and get my power. I automatically get it while trying to just get to the power in general. So yeah, it saves 40 seconds. It can happen in any rank, but it's never happened to me in any other rank other than rank B. It's just RNG. And these rooms are all the same every single time you do a run. The only thing different is what Pokemon are there and where they're at. That's the only thing different about it. So like how this Magmar dropped, that's basically what I want to happen in this next stage. And if anybody's wondering, I'm almost 30 seconds ahead of world record right now. I guess I can go more into how much time the password saves into over no passwords. So no passwords is more RNG dependent for obvious reasons. The world record difference is about 11 minutes because I don't have a speedy Pokemon at the start of the run, and I have to rely on a lot more RNG dependent factors to get a good run going. So this run is more like speedrun friendly. I didn't get the drop, so now I have to go to a different stage, which is fine. But yeah, so in this category I don't have to rely on RNG as much. The only time I have to rely on RNG is getting the power. The reason I go into the Fiery Furnace instead of the Rocky Cave in rank B is because the Fiery Furnace in rank B is absolutely garbage and has really crappy Pokemon in it. Alright, this is really good RNG. So yeah, I go in here because there's just stronger Pokemon in here in general. Obviously. I got my 200 and it was good RNG. Getting it first room is just awesome, and no matter what you're doing. And there's a few other categories for this game that's just not, they're kind of more arbitrary, which is why I'm not doing it. There's any percent passwords and without passwords, and then there's all stages, which is just, we go to all stages in every rank, passwords and no passwords. And then there's advanced mode, all stages, and advanced mode any percent with passwords. And advanced mode is just a more difficult version of this. This is normal mode. There's 3 different difficulties: there's normal, advanced, and normal, advanced, and EX. And EX isn't very speedrunnable. It's just kind of go as far as you can, just get powerful Pokemon. There's nothing really speedrun worthy about it. This is a run killer for me. The Rank B Battle Royale is probably the most difficult one for me for some reason. They have the most bosses other than Rank S, and there's the way it's like laid out is just really weird. And and all the bosses are extremely powerful, and they'll just kill me in like 2 hits. So I want to be fast, but I don't want to be too reckless. And so the bosses that spawn in this Battle Royale is Alakazam, Golem, Gengar, and Machamp. And in order to spawn Machamp, which is the last one, I have to kill one of the mini bosses. Or I have to kill one of the bosses, like, in order to have enough Pokemon killed. Because that's how the mini bosses spawn. They just go by how many Pokemon have already been killed. And then, because they don't want to enter them too early or too late. So yeah, in order to have Machamp show up, I have to kill at least one of them. So I usually just go for Golem because he's weak to water type, but they're all good candidates to go for because Gengar and Alakazam has really shit defense. So I'm going to switch back into Rattata and do the same thing over and over again. So this route change is actually pretty new. I would do what I did last time and go to Windy Prairie Fire Furnace and the Eternal Tower, but I didn't like the RNG factors that was in it. I wanted it to be more. I wanted it to be, if I got the boss drop, it would be more of a chance to get good RNG and get the boss and get the power that I needed. Oh, that's unlucky. So I changed it to going to Windy Prairie, and then going from Windy Prairie to Eternal Tower, and then Fiery Furnace. And you'll see why when I get out of here. So, all the password Pokemon, they have a set power that they are maximum to. Rattata's power is only 388, so Rank A and Rank S especially are more difficult for Rattata to survive in, because Rattata's defense is not good anyway, even though he's Joey's Rattata and is amazing. So now I have to be a little bit more careful when I'm doing my movement, because if I die with Rattata, depending on what stage or what room I die in, I can lose 5 to 20 seconds just by dying with Rattata. So A rank isn't too bad, but once I get to S rank, it's pretty nerve-wracking because mostly every Pokemon will one-hit KO Rattata. Oh crap. I was trying to fit into that little space because Rattata is small enough to be able to fit into smaller spaces. And there's probably the glitchiest thing about this game is the fact that you can't stop moving unless you don't put an input. Because if there's a tight enough space, you've probably already seen it, I just didn't get to explain it. If there's a tight enough space to where Rattata can fit into but not easily get out, the game will start to freak out kind of and just vibrate. Rattata will start vibrating, and if it takes too long, the whole like game window will start vibrating, and it looks really weird. So, and that's the game just trying to figure out what to do with Rattata and the other Pokemon that are there, because I'm not supposed to be doing that. I'm not supposed to be vibrating and trying to fit in between Pokemon's faces to their personal bubble. And A rank, RNG wise, is the worst rank. At least for me it is. In my world record, it was my best rank, which just gives me more of a reason to not like A rank. The RNG is just really weird. There's not that many good Pokemon in any of the stages, so it's kind of hard to get the power that I need without a boss drop. And by the way, this boss fight is really easy to manipulate. That was kind of bad RNG, but if Charizard just charged his attack right when he charged it, it means I can't hit him. But if he charged it any later than that, I would have been able to just stay in front of him and hit him, and he wouldn't have been able to hit me. So we're gonna go into the Rocky Cave again and get the power that we need. This is a very not nice rank for RNG. My world record had amazing RNG here, and I'm probably never gonna get that RNG ever again. And if I'm just skipping some Pokemon because they'll never be the power that I need. So it's kind of pointless to waste my breath. So I basically just go for the ones that I know can be the power. And it's fine if I ever die. Once I die, I just go into Blastoise and kill everything. See how that Slowpoke was only 280 and I need 400. Not the best RNG so far. I need to kind of get this going. Come on. Yeah, the Rattata is shiny. It's shiny, speedy, and has double edge, and it's Joey's Rattata. That's what makes him so special. Looks like I'm gonna get to show off what happens if I don't get the power that I need, because that's basically what just happened. Alright, so there's two options. Either I go and beat the boss, which will raise the amount of, will raise the chance of a drop happening, because that's just another boss that I killed, or I can be speedrun friendly and just leave and go back and try again, which is what I'm gonna do. That, again, A rank is the most unforgiving for RNG. And that's basically how I got world record, is, or how I beat my old world record, is because of the RNG here. But that's fine. If I can get it soon, that'd be great. If you saw that Graveler that I just killed, he had like the sparkling texture around his sprite or whatever, and that's an automatic drop. If you ever see that when playing this game, kind of hard to point it out in a speedrun, but even bosses can do that too. It's just all right. There we go. 424. So, because of that little RNG dependent factor in this run, I went from minus 15 seconds to plus 2.5 minutes. So. Menuing. This is one of the slowest battle royales, I think. I feel like it is, because I feel like the S rank battle royale just kind of goes by really fast, because I'm not trying, like I'm not paying attention to anything else, so I'm just trying to finish the run. This battle royale is really aggravating. But the good thing is I didn't have many Kabutos. Kabutos don't flinch for whatever reason whenever you hit them. So like how these Pokemon, they get like kind of stunned at first when I hit them. Kabutos don't do that for whatever logic that is. So if I don't kill them or get out of the way, they'll hit me, and it's annoying. I want as much fire types as possible, which didn't exactly happen, but oh, I guess that would make sense. Shell armor. Okay, that's kind of bad. Alright, I'm gonna see if this will work. If dying with Blastoise isn't the worst thing to happen if it's near the end of the Battle Royale, because even though Rattata gets hit by his own attack, if it's not... It's... okay. I didn't... Alright. If it's like later enough in the run where Rattata won't kill himself with his attack, with recoil, it's fast to just go into Rattata and finish the Battle Royale with Rattata if you die with Blastoise, but that was a little too early for me to do that. That's what the Shaman's for. The Shaman is the last password that I use. I don't use him that often. I only use him if I die with Rattata or with Blastoise, and I can't... Oops. And I can't finish the Battle Royale with Rattata. Yeah, because he has a Seed Flare, and Seed Flare is a really good move. It lowers the defense, and it's just really powerful anyway. Alright, so this is the scary part of the run. Everything, unless I just get really lucky with the hit range of an attack, or if just the power of a Pokemon isn't strong enough, I will die by one hit unless I just get good RNG and don't. But even if I do survive a hit, the time save isn't that present. I need to have full health going into every single boss fight, or it's kind of pointless. Because the point is to survive with Rattata, and since his attack does recoil damage anyway, I need to have as much health as possible. And all of these bosses take a lot of hits to kill them, since they're so... Okay, I'm dead. Since they're so powerful. So, yeah. That was kind of bad movement. I got scared. But that's fine. This is probably the best place to die with Rattata, because Moltres is weak to water type. But that was also the last room, so that didn't lose too much time. But it also loses time because I have to switch back into Rattata when I leave. So, oh, I got the boss drop. I'm not gonna bother getting it because I don't need it. But that lost a little bit of time, and then having to do this loses some time too. The reason I go into Moltres first instead of instead of going and doing this part, that was just bad RNG. I couldn't do anything about that. Is because the Fiery Furnace in this category, or in this rank, is really, really strong. All the Pokemon there are really strong, and Moltres is the strongest boss. So getting them done first makes their defenses lowered and their attacks lowered, obviously, because they're not as powerful. And it's also just getting the hardest one out of the way first. But now I can kind of show off the speed of Aqua Tail. But the reason why this is slower is because I keep having to mash the button, and it hits Pokemon, which causes lag, and it's just not faster than just full-on running through everything. But it's a good backup. For Palin, no one's ever done a run of Japanese because it's not really allowed. But for Pal runners, it's more more time is lost when you die with Rattata because you don't have Blastoise to back you up. Oh, and that's really good RNG. That's the RNG I would want if I do any percent no passwords, because that Dragonite had Aqua Tail, and Aqua Tail obviously is a good move. Yeah, sadly, the other Pokemon Rumble games aren't too popular, and especially for speedrunning, because not even this one's popular. And I think this is the best candidate for speedrunning in the Pokemon Rumble series, just because of how it was made, and I just feel like it's better. That was scary. But yeah, there aren't too many runners of the other Rumble games. Oh my god, I'm dead. Okay, well, that's fine. The first death was my fault, but those two were just bad RNG. I really couldn't do much about it. I'm gonna go get that Nidoking, might as well. It could be the like, point, never mind. The percent that I needed, but it's not. Alright, so I'm gonna try this. I usually go into the Rocky Cave to get this power, but this just has better Pokemon in it overall. In the Rocky Cave, I have to kind of skip the first 2 or 3 stages until good Pokemon start showing up. When here, it's just there's good Pokemon the whole time.
How long do you think you'll be now then?
Probably like a few more minutes.
Wow, you do really well. I'm really enjoying this.
Thank you. Yeah, this was actually a pretty good run up until A rank, which is usually when all my runs die. So unless I just get really terrible RNG like that, 599 power, that's just unlucky. Okay, there we go. Yeah. We're good.
The reason I'm asking is just because I need to know when to hit time.
Okay, yeah. You hit time once you see congratulations on the screen. That's basically it, but I'll tell you when.
Congratulations.
Yeah. The old record before I took it, the timing was actually incorrect. He ended timer when he hit the last, like when he got the last hit in the Battle Royale, which is the timing for advanced mode, because advanced mode is different. Because you can skip everything after it. After the last hit, you could skip everything, but in normal rank, you can't do that. So yeah, I actually beat when I first got a 33, I went from a 36 to a 33 in this category, because I just got really good RNG, and the world record. Yeah, it was. I got the boss up that I was talking about in rank B. I got that, and that saved about a minute off of my PB, and then I just got good RNG everywhere else. The only reason I beat that world record a few days ago, and it was just because I had a better run. The RNG was better overall. I didn't get any boss drops, but my execution was better and my RNG was good, so I PB'd by 1 second. But the old world record before I took it was a 33:42, I believe. And that's timing with the last hit of the last Pokemon, and I beat that timing, so that's how good my time is. I'm not trying to brag, but it's a 33 is ridiculous. Any 33 is ridiculous. Alright, that was kind of a bad. I was being really risky because I wanted to go fast, but it's fine. And the same thing with rank B. I have to kill one of these. Wow. Okay, this is now bad. Alright, actually, this is fun. This Charizard is alright. Alright, I kind of have to be careful now. Be careful. If you could see, this Charizard has a special nature, or a special trait, and it's healthy, which is, it just gains health slowly, which is cool. It was kind of a bad ending to a run, but this is fine. Alright. Alright, I got a time that I expected. Alright, time's coming up. And time. Alright. And that's Pokemon Rumble. Resident sleeper percent. Counting sheep category. I do apologize for that, but it did it. So yeah, that's Pokemon Rumble. The community for this category or for this game is pretty small. I've gotten a few people that were interested in running it. I've done a few runs here and there, but I'm the only one that's actively running this game. But it's a very optimized game, even though there aren't too many runners of it. I've put a lot of time and effort into it, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully I entertained you with Joey's Rattata.